Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Today's question comes from a house cleaner who is burned out. She's been doing this for years, and she's burned out. She says, I dread going to customers' houses, and I don't know how to get my mojo back. What do you recommend? All right, so having done this for 25 years, there is a secret to it. And you have to think of it in terms of like a marathon, not a sprint. Because if you're going at sprint pace, you will burn out. And so you have to pace yourself. And so the very first thing that I need you to do if you're in burnout mode, and if you're not in burnout mode, please listen to this. Bookmark this and refer back to it on days when you are burned out. Because if you're in the business long enough, you will get burned out. I promise you that, okay? Burnout is right around the next corner for many of you. So listen to this. Okay, so when you start your business, you need to realize that everything runs off of you, okay? You are the engine that drives your business. And so it comes down to your health and your physical well-being. If you're not in shape, if you're eating crappy food, and if you're not sleeping at night, those are all going to affect your work performance. So the very first thing that you need to do if you are going to have any longevity in this business is you need to train. What? I got to train to clean houses? Yes, you do. This is like running a marathon. This is like running a race. You don't show up on race day and just like start running 26.2 miles, right? Who does that? No, you start running 2 miles and then you run 3 miles and then you run 4 miles. Then you start eating bananas and pasta and all kinds of stuff so that you can build up the carbs and you can build up the strength. The day will come when you run 10 miles and you're like, it's a piece of cake. But you don't start out running 10 miles, okay? And so the joy of the house cleaning business is when you start out, you don't start out with 30 customers. You start out with 1 or 2 or 5. And as you build your business, you figure out systems and you become faster. And as you become faster, you start working those customers in, okay? So as you build up and you have more muscle and more mental acuity that you can spend to your job, then what you have to figure out is how do I, as the instrument, keep myself in shape so that I can manage more houses and more projects. So the next thing that I need for you to pay attention to is if burnout is coming, it's like when you're running the race and you've twisted your ankle and you're like, wow, I twisted my ankle. I need to pay attention to that. So what do? You wrap your ankle. You stay off of it for a couple of days. You hit the bicycle for a couple of days and you do some cross training in order to help your ankle get better so you can hit the road again, okay? So if burnout is creeping up on you, respect the burnout. Respect the fact that maybe you've picked up a few too many houses and you're burning your candle at both ends. So what you want to make sure that you do is you want to make sure that are you getting enough sleep at night? And you need to really pay attention to this because it's so easy when we get home at night and our families are there. We stay up late watching TV and we want to be a person. We don't just want to clean all the time. And then we stay up way too late, eating all kinds of crappy food into the wee hours of the morning. And then we're expected to get up at 6 o'clock, put our uniforms on, put on our big happy faces and go out and clean houses. And we feel like crap, right? So you have to put yourself on a schedule where you do go to bed every night at a regular time. And as you go to bed at a regular time, you train your body to reset itself at a particular time. And so like when you set your alarm at 6 o'clock every morning, after a while, you don't need your alarm anymore. Your body wakes up and you're like, oh yes, it's morning. I must go to work. Because you've trained yourself. You've got yourself in a routine. Now, just like you can train yourself to wake up in the morning, you can train yourself to wake up from zero gravity naps. Do you know about zero gravity naps? They're so cool. Okay, so if you are studying productivity and you want to become more efficient at what you do, there will come a time when you're just exhausted and you're burned out and you're beat and you're just pooped. So what you need is you need to go in and reset and reboot your system. And so we do that with a zero gravity nap. I learned about zero gravity naps about 5 years ago. Basically what you do is you take a nap and you set your alarm for 10 minutes. And the next time you take a nap, hopefully it's the next day, You set it for 9 minutes, then you set it for 8 minutes, then you set it for 7 minutes, then you set it for 6 minutes, then you set it for 5 minutes, and you get all the way down to the point where when you fall into unconsciousness, you bounce right back out again and your system is completely rebooted. And you learn how to take what I call zero gravity naps that literally are about less than a minute. And you literally take off your shoes, you lie down on the bed, you close your eyes, and you just get zapped into complete unconsciousness. And the moment you hit unconsciousness, you bounce right back out again. And you're like bread out of a toaster, just like, boom, here I am again. I'm ready to rock and roll. And it takes a little bit of adjustment to get your body to that. But you'll get to a point where you're between houses and you have like 7 minutes between houses and you get to the next customer's house early. And I never did it right in front of their house because that would look weird if they saw me sleeping out in front of their house. But I've done this for years. I pull around the corner from their house so they can't see me. And it might be on like a public part of the road, so I'm not in front of somebody's house directly, because if you take a nap in front of anybody's house, that's just weird. But if there's like a little side road or something where it's not really very apparent, and I just recline the seat for a second and I fall asleep and then boom, I'm right back up again. All right, now I'm ready to go clean another house. So respect the burnout and learn to take those zero gravity naps. The next thing I have to mention is that you need to take regular vacations. Now for me, I can go at full speed, except I need like a week off 3 times a year. So 3 times a year, one in January, one in July, and one in September. And I work really hard between those times. And I just get to a point where I'm just burned out and I completely need to reset my system. And so there are 3 very different vacations. But for those 3 vacations, I take an entire week off. And I let my customers know at the beginning of the year. I take 3 weeks off a year. These are the 3 weeks. I'm going to tell you up front what the weeks are. And at the beginning of the year, I have decided my vacations for the whole year. And so I have decided already that I'm going to take some time off. And if their cleaning falls during that week, I can either find them a replacement or they just skip that cleaning and I come back 2 weeks or 3 weeks later and I pick up where I left off. If you do not have the luxury of taking a week vacation, you can take mini vacations. And the mini vacation is beautiful. It is, let's say that you have a cancellation and somebody cancels and it was going to be a 3-hour cleaning. That is a mini vacation. If you did not book that with another client, that is your time. And instead of screwing around and wasting it and just going and hanging out at Target or whatever it is you do, take an on-purpose mini vacation. It is 3 hours long. Is there a movie that you have been wanting and dying to see? This is a time for you to go to the movie theater, grab some popcorn, grab a soda, sit there and just absolutely enjoy. Do something that you would only do when you were on vacation. That might be that you kick up your feet and that you read a book and you have a cup of tea and you just thrive on the free time that you have. But you have to use it as a vacation, because if you squander that time away, you're going to be just as frustrated as if you didn't take a vacation at all. You're not going to be any more rested or relaxed, and you're going to feel like you got screwed out of the money that the person was supposed to give you because they canceled the house cleaning, right? So you have to take mini vacations. And sometimes I've taken vacations that are a half hour long. And that sounds so weird, I know. But when you get to a point where you say, listen, I've got a half hour and I have no interruptions. Nobody knows where I am right now. I'm going to sit down in my car and I'm going to write something, and my body is relaxed. I'm completely rested, and I'm going to do something creative for 30 minutes before I have to go to this next house. And that is my time. I own that time. It is only for me. And it recharges my batteries. It gets my mind flowing again. It gets my excitement up, and it reboots my system. So if you've reached a point of burnout, you have to respect it. Because if you keep plowing through burnout, it's like keep running on a twisted ankle. It's only going to get worse. It's going to get swollen. It might be broken. Who knows what's wrong with it? But if you don't respect the burnout, you don't make yourself any more well. Your clients don't make you any more well. You're not going to like them any better, and they're not going to like you any better, right? So this is about your attitude. It's about your body. It's about your brain. It's about your love and your enthusiasm for the job. You are the engine that drives your business. And so you have to take care of yourself. It's not an option, right? You are the business. And if you expand and you have employees, they're counting on you to be your best. If you're the team leader, you can't be running with a busted up ankle, okay? You have to be at your best. And as parents, we all know that you can't take care of your family. You can't take care of those you love until you take care of yourself first. All right, so that's my take, and I'm going to get off my soapbox now. But if you're reaching burnout mode, you have to respect the burnout and you have to take care of yourself. All right, if you found this tip helpful, please leave us a rating either on YouTube or on iTunes, wherever you're listening to this. We would love to hear your feedback. And until I see you again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.